The world isn't generating any more land. And so it's really important as a public land manager to make sure we're stewarding it for the future, for generations to come. We're taking out larger chunks from agricultural production and restoring it to its permanent cover. We just did a almost 300-acre wetland restoration out at Walking Iron Wildlife Area.
We're going to restore it back to a wet prairie and create nesting habitat and habitat for waterfowl and grassland birds.
We've been able to restore close to 80 miles of cold water streams, which are very important trout habitat. One of my big efforts is focused on the common carp removals in a number of water bodies throughout Dane County.
About 10,000 acres of our county park system is what we would call natural areas. We work across several hundred, maybe even a couple thousand acres of those natural areas. We work with the seasons, so fall for us is seed collection season. That's when the seeds in the prairies and the woodlands are getting ripe, and that's when we have the opportunity to go and collect those seeds. We then take and process those seeds in our seed facility with volunteers. We hammer mill, fanning mill, weigh, sort, package the seeds so they can go out to the field.
Last year we collected almost 4,000 pounds of native prairie seeds, 200 species, and that had a value of over $1 million.
And then we take and plant it. Also spend a lot of time in the winter removing invasive trees and brush from our different natural communities. And then in the spring, we've got a really nice window of opportunity for our prescribed burning, which is probably the single most important thing that we do to manage and restore these lands, since fire was such a critical element that helped to shape these communities in the first place. And then as spring fades and we rotate into the summer, we spend a lot of time in a very compressed window of opportunity controlling our invasive weeds.
We wouldn't be able to have the kinds of work being done on the ground right now without volunteers. We have about 17 friends groups and 4 partner groups. We have over 60,000 hours of volunteer time put into this system.
The future of the planet looks kind of grim, but when people are here and together and working hard, I do think it gives us all a sense of hope.
We work really closely with Operation Fresh Start to steward young people in land restoration methods and hopefully inspire the passion.
We're also taking care of the forest and stuff like that, and the earth and just in general. So I feel good every time I do my job.
One of the things that we're all becoming more acutely aware of is the impacts of climate change in the form of more often and heavier rain events. What the prairies do and what wetland restoration does is it provides an area for that rain to hit and then soak in. A second huge benefit is when we look at our efforts to clean up our lakes. We have a lot of agriculture in Dane County. If we have buffers in the form of prairies, then when that water hits, if it does run off of a field, for example, it runs off into the prairie and it soaks in rather than getting into our water system.
We've been able to estimate that roughly when we restore an acre of our parklands, we get 3 pounds of phosphorus reduced from getting into surface water. That's a benefit, and because we know roughly for every pound of phosphorus that gets into surface water, that's 500 pounds of algae.
It's estimated that some of the lands will hold up to nearly 50 tons of carbon as well.
One of our main drives within the county is to increase carbon sequestration and maintain those benefits that trees provide. Well, large trees provide a heck of a lot more benefits than small trees. One of our large goals that we do is we try to preserve trees. We have a gravel bed program that reduces the cost of trees that we put in and also reduces the amount of labor that we need to do to maintain those trees.
Not just the statistics that you can talk about in terms of carbon and water storage and all that, but the emotional benefits that we receive, the intangibles are really remarkable. We can begin to teach people that they can have a positive, beneficial, mutually beneficial relationship with the earth and the environment.